Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7, and today we are taking a look at the Wixco Drax. I did buy this with my own money, and this is designed and OEM'd by Monster, and Wixco is the budget brand of Monster. Just like We has Civivi and Concept has Tenable, Monster has Wixco. So jumping right into it, we've got some really nice marble carbon fiber scales. It's very smooth to the touch, but something they've done is they've milled lines. They're going to be kind of hard to see, but they've milled lines in the carbon fiber. So what that means is, even though it's smooth to the touch, if you listen, you can hear that it's super grippy. Otherwise, this would be kind of slick in hand. So it's a really cool detail that they put in there that, you know, if you really need to grind down on it, you can, and you'll get plenty of grippy texture. We have all steel T8 hardware, except for the pocket clip screws. Those are T6s. We do have a deep carry non-reversible steel stamped pocket clip. And then we have a standoff, and we have a spot for lanyards. Now, as far as the ergonomics go, ergonomics on this knife are great. Plenty of room, 4-finger grip, a little bit of room to spare. Couldn't find a hot spot if you paid me. Overall, just a really nice all-day comfortable feel in hand. Because of the carbon fiber scales, this thing is super lightweight. And it looks like we are perfectly balanced right there, just below the crossbar lock. We have a handsome drop point style blade. We've got a little swedge up top. We are rocking a flat grind. And this blade is 14C28N with an HRC of 58 to 60. Now, you know, we're kind of programmed to be scared of anything under 60 HRC, but different steels have, you know, different optimal ranges, and 58 to 60 for 14C28N is perfectly optimized. Ideally, you would be closer to 60, but 58, 59, those are not going to be considered soft. They're still within that optimal range. Now, as far as the detent goes, this is a crossbar lock, which means it doesn't have a traditional detent because it's not overcoming the pressure of a liner lock. It's not overcoming the pressure of a detent ball. The only thing that you're up against is the pressure that the springs provide. Now, typically, I don't like crossbar locks because they don't have that detent. And I complain about it every single time I do a crossbar lock, because people say that, you know, oh, it's a crossbar lock, it's super smooth. And it's like, well, no, it's not super smooth. There's no friction. So it would be smooth if there was friction and it, you know, glided through seamlessly. But with these crossbar locks, when you shake them and they just flop back and forth, they're not resisting anything. There's no friction. With this one, though, if you check this out, this one is not flopping back and forth. This is a good thing. That means that you're actually contending with some friction. And that means that this feels like it has an actual detent. This is actually one of the better crossbar locks as far as feeling like it has a genuine detent, because you have friction on the way up and friction on the way down. And that's evidenced by the fact that it's not flopping back and forth, right? If this was free swinging back and forth, there'd be no friction and it would just feel like you were flicking air. But since it does have some resistance, you kind of get that feeling of having a liner lock. Even on the way down, you run into some friction, which means, once again, it feels like it has a detent. So I'm a really big fan of the action on this crossbar lock. As far as the acoustics go, you know, they're not phenomenal. It's kind of dull on the way up. little bit better on the way down. There's enough like audible feedback, you know, to be somewhat satisfying, but you know, it's not winning any awards based on its acoustics. As far as the close goes, it is technically a guillotine because it just closes all the way by itself. But if you look, it's a lot more controlled than just a straight up free fall. So it does lend itself towards a controlled drop shut. Once again, that's a feature of a premium knife. So I'm a big fan of that. This type of slow controlled fall is what you would see on a liner lock or a frame lock, because on the way down, the knife has to contend with the pressure of that liner lock or frame lock. So that just lends this more towards being similar to that type of knife. The Omega springs are easy enough to disengage. Not too difficult, not too much pressure. And while the pocket clip isn't reversible, this is an ambidextrous locking system, which means, now I'm not a lefty, but which means if you don't mind the pocket clip and you're a lefty, you can manipulate this knife just fine, certainly better than I can. Now, as far as an overall length goes, we are rocking a 7.36 inch knife, and that's with a blade length of 3.23. And that gives us a blade to handle ratio of 0.78 or 78%. We're going to put this up against the Real Steel Sylph. And it looks like the Drax is going to beat it out by 1/5 of an inch. And we're going to put it up against the Civivi Altus. And it looks like the Drax is going to beat that by about 1/3 of an inch. So by no means is it a big knife. You know, definitely not full size. I would say on the smaller end for sure. Now, I said that Wixco was the budget version of Fair Monster. So, you know, whenever I say budget, what am I talking about? So this version of the Drax comes in at 99 bucks. Now, for a lot of people, that is not going to be a budget. For some people, that's going to be grail territory, and I totally understand that. So a few things. One, for every version of a knife that Wixco has, they've got a premium budget version, which would be this one, and then they have a budget version. So the budget version of this, they have one in Ultim that comes in at like 84 bucks, and then they have one, I believe, in Micarta that comes in for like right around 64, 65 bucks. So, you know, at 65 bucks, you're firmly in budget territory. But I also have a code. It's S7. So just the letter S and the number 7, and that takes 10% off. So if you're at 65 bucks and then you take 10% off, you're going to be sitting right around 59 and some change. And at 59 bucks for what I believe is Micarta, still 14C28N, and fantastic crossbar action. I mean, I would say worth it every day of the week. I did opt for the more premium one, but that's just because I wanted to show off, you know, the best that they were capable of. You know, I wanted to show what the most premium version of this knife was. But you don't have to have carbon fiber scales to have a good functioning tool. You don't have to spend the extra 30 bucks to have something that's going to be comfortable and last all day. You know, the difference really between the two models is just the scales. And the Micarta is going to give you the same, if not better, grip than the carbon fiber will. And it's still going to be optimally heat-treated 14C28N, all-day ergonomics. So, you know, if what you're looking for is something that has some style to it, but is primarily going to be an enjoyable daily user, then use the code S7, get it for about 59 bucks, and it's going to be smooth sailing from there. And you'll be just as happy with that version as somebody would be with this version. So is this something that I would carry? Absolutely. Mainly because of the action. Otherwise, I typically don't reach for crossbar locks, but just with the way this one feels, that and the fact that it's just uber comfortable. I mean, this thing really disappears in the hand. I'm a huge fan of it. Is this something I would collect? This is not something I would look to add to my collection. I would definitely add it to my daily carry rotation. But this isn't the type of knife that I would like seek to permanently add to my, my forever collection. So my question for you is this something that you would carry, or is this something that you would want to add to your collection? Let me know down in the comments below. And then if you're interested in this knife, the link is going to be down in the description. You can click on the link. It'll take you directly to the website where you can see all the knives they have available. I want to say they've got 6 models in total, and I've got 4 more that I'll go through and do a review on. But you can click the knife, plug in the code, get that discount, and that's it. If you do end up picking this knife up, come back to this video and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Other than that, I just want to say thanks for all the love and support. You guys have been amazing. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me, for the channel, and until the next time, peace.